Welcoming you back to crypto's juiciest news. Do we finally have stocks on the blockchain, friends? What did Trump say again about Jerome Powell, the major loser? Are they really going to cut rates? Has crypto really been readying itself to fire up into the northern stars? All of that coming and more, friends, alongside Michael Saylor purchasing BTC. We've got so much stuff to cover. First, we will start with the monthly candle, which doesn't change every day, but I check it every single day anyway. This is 107,000 American dollar Bitcoin, 3 green monthly candles. Got to remind you as well, in the year of 2017, we had 3 red, and then there were 9 green, okay? This year, we've already had 2 red, 1, 2, you know? Does this mean maybe we have like a red September, green, 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 red September, green, green, green? Maybe. That would be repeating 2017. And then I got to remind you, the year after that bull market year, I believe it was 8 red. That's what makes the bear market, where you just have like 8 months of bad news, okay? But there's nothing to worry about, friends, because it's a yin yang. It's a seesaw, okay? We can't have a bear to wash out the sins without doing the sin first. You know, the sin of excessive euphoria and greed. We're nowhere near there yet, bro, you know? But everyone, we've got so much PTSD because none of us want to hold another 4 years, man. We're just so scared. I know, friends, we all have the same combos, by the way. Oh, I think the same thing too. But I got to use myself and yourself, right, as a basic, we're a proxy, like a representation of the average participant out there. We can't think, oh, I'm a special snowflake. No, we're pretty much, we're just like, we're the average of everyone out here. We all feel the same thing. That's how these usually play out, is everybody stays reserved, and then it takes a lot to finally make you let go, right? And what's that going to look like? We'll see. Okay. The weekly chart's looking very strong. Bitcoin is near its like all-time high close. It's going to be, it's wonderful thing. It had an all-time high, basically, literally quarterly close or something. This is the Bitcoin dominance, 2 tiny little pin dick red candles that no one gives a crap about. This doesn't really mean anything. We need, obviously, Ethereum to start really kicking off. When's it going to kick off? We've got that $3,800 zone still watching. That's why, friends, don't wear yourself out with anything here. I know, yeah, Ethereum's probably going to be strong, but just don't. Even if we get excited of a 3,200 CME gap, okay, literally, that's why I'm not joking, man. I look at my portfolio, friends, I know Ethereum is nowhere near 3,800. And even when it is there, I'm still not going to get excited. You know, I want to see it print 4,000. And I'm like, oh, now it's go time. Because that's 6 times it was at that level. 6, right? So after that 7th one, then we're like, oh, now we're allowed to finally, with like 19,000 false starts, finally feel good, right? I also, friends, want to show you, we're going to cover some macro stuff because the most important news of the day is the S&P 500. Okay? The S&P 500 did another record all-time high close. Now, if you're in crypto, if you don't know stocks move opposite in terms of crypto, right? Stocks, they're making new all-time highs a lot of the time, the S&P 500. This is like a reflection of the economy. So once it hits all-time highs, it's a safe point most of the time. And then your volatility drops really low, and it just starts ticking and ticking and ticking. That's what it does. Okay, that's what the S&P 500 does. You go, oh wow, tick 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 tick. It just does that. Okay, but you're in crypto. Okay, you're used to seeing this with me. Oh my gosh, it's all over. No, I should have sold. You know what I mean? That's what we're used to seeing in cryptocurrency, right? That's not how stocks go. Stocks, to get to all-time high, there's a lot of like real solid demand, right? In terms of all the stock market Ponzi bidders. So, and then the VIX drops. So with crypto, it's the opposite. Crypto is a commodity. As we go up, the volatility goes higher. So our VIX goes up as crypto goes up, right? We're literally a freaking degenerate casino, network effect, city casino thing, right? Like a feature of a slot machine. And with stock market, when they go up, their VIX goes down, their volatility index. Yeah. So we move more like a commodity. Stocks move more like obviously equity shares, right? Stock volatility rises when it dumps, you know? when like what it did here with up and down, oh no, I can't handle it. With crypto, it's like, oh no, it's actually dead. That's why we move opposite, right? That's why we're preparing for this. That's why how you know, right? Stocks we're in a safe place macro-wise. Now, friends, the US banks got some big news covering as well. The US banks, they're all pricing in multiple cuts for the year. So we're going to continue to see, this is the US, this is rate expectations, okay? So it's just the differential between the US 2-year and the Fed funds rate. Okay, so right now it's at minus 0.6%. So it's more than 2 cuts, okay? As it moves down, if this thing starts ticking down throughout the next, month or two, this means they expect more cuts coming, all right? What we can do as well, we look at the CME Fed Watch tool, and the FOMC is in 29 days, okay? So major losers are going to speak again. They're going to do the rate decision in 29 days. But before that, they usually hint stuff. Now, what I've noticed is right now, there's a 20% chance of a cut in the next meeting. This used to be on like just, there's a 20% chance of a cut here. It used to be only like 5 to 10, okay? If I go and check out Rectember, I'll see what it does is it is about a, 75% chance, I think, of a cut by then. Yeah, but it's one cut, and who cares at this point, bro? We didn't care. Like, we need like a big slosh. Right, but the US dollar and everything is moving in our favor, so we don't need to really worry about any of those things. So the economy is strong. Look at the US dollar, friends. I've just checked it out now. It's actually making new lower lows. Wow, it's actually making lower lows as we speak. Remember, there is $360 trillion of debt in the world, 50% of it of US dollars. Okay, so that now you have 180 trillion. So every 1% the US dollar aduni goes down, that is a 1.8 trillion help to the debt. Okay, 1.8 trillion for every 1%. Okay, so so going from 100 down to, here you go, 99, there you go. There's 1.8 trillion stimulus. There's another 1.8 trillion stimulus. There's another 1.8 trillion. See what I mean? That's big money. And that's what creates the rocket launch pad for risk on assets, because there are now obviously all these companies, all these banks and everyone out here, they don't have to cover their debt as much because their local currencies are now stronger. Now let's check out Mr. Racist Russell 2000, who still doesn't have any white Caucasian friends. It is still hanging around here in the poopy town, friends, minus 10% off the high. Remember, it's a reflection of Ethereum and altcoins in general. That's probably going to move up as the business cycle really kicks into gear. It's a final key missing piece. NASDAQ booming, S&P 500 booming, everything's booming but our bags pretty much. This is the global liquidity fractal once again. My friend who frequently talks about crypto named Colin has been covering this, and I'm very excited, friends, because look at this, man. The fractal moving into September, it's still going up. Do you remember how I said like September might be a red month? Well, I mean, like this thing is actually, look at it, it's still ticking up. It's still ticking up. It doesn't necessarily mean you can't have a red month or anything, but like it's just, something to think about. Look what the global liquidity fractal did when we had our 2 red months of the year. So this is the BTC chart. We had February and March. So now if you check it out, here was February. Look what it did. The M2 went down hard, and then March was just sideways. And those were 2 red months. So that's what the global thing, that's what it looked like. So with these, it's moving green, okay, which is, it's great for us to see. I know no one really, I know we don't, this has never happened before, but it's still a possibility where we literally just do constant green monthly candles and we blow off in December. That is possible. And then that would pretty much, how I see this resolving, see, this is altcoins, friends. In my mind, altcoins are either going to peak out somewhere in, January to May next year, right? Or we get an explosive big, PMI and everything reverses, and altcoins, instead of doing 6 green monthly candles, they have their final 7th. Now, you got to remember, the difference between a 6th green monthly candle and a 7th one as a possibility, we've never seen that before in OTHERS-BTC. But if it happened, it would be freaking enormous. You want to know why? Because that 7th candle might be like a final 2x in that month, which is huge. You could just imagine it's like the difference. But it's the difference between someone, you got 500K and then the next month you got $1 million, right? That final 2x is enormous. And another way to look at it, it's a difference between, say, Pulse Chain being up 50x and that final month sends everything to Euphoria. You know, so maybe Pulse Chain ecosystem goes from like, you know, 70 billion market cap, and then it goes to 140 in that final one. That's what you call traditional ball off top. But what I've described here for you, that's one possibility. It is also possible where we just kind of get a poopy alt season and we just got to move on to next year. I want to show you what we're expecting next, friends. So remember, I keep showing you every day the daily super trend, which is where we are here. And I'll keep telling you about, we're expecting some sort of little range mode here. And when we're ready to go, there's going to be like some big, giant thrust move into the moon. Moon time, baby. All right. Let's check out some charts. That's why I want to show you that. Okay, so Russell 2000 is from Blockchain Backer, right? So it's obviously, it's pooped. It's still pooped, but it's the last thing needed to go. This is the S&P 500 through the all-time high. Just showing you, okay. So we got the traffic lights again, right? We had them before, like 6-7 months ago. Then the traffic lights for America turned red because, you know, Trump says, tariff, China, Matt, stop trying to rig us. Send us more of the Chinese dragon statues and stuff. Stop ripping us. That's the type of stuff that was happening, and it just makes everyone go, no, I can't feel euphoric. That's pretty much what happens to everyone, and then we got a reset. And we did do a reset, right? Another reset. Went for 6 months. This is Bitcoin's chart, and on the right-hand side and the middle are two previous Bitcoin examples of where it has resolved this zone. So it does this little range mode here, and we are expecting some little range mode. If you notice, look what happens on the right-hand side on the top. It smacks up. So we're looking for a smack up. So this is like because I've done this 3 times in the past before. Maybe it's going to be the 4th one. We don't know exactly what type of expectation of the range it is, but it generally just looks like a bull flag, right? And we are in the month of Joyful July now as well. So this is another closer look up. The thing, though, is this is what Blockchain Backer thinks is happening. Look, fans, I just don't think this is going to happen, bro. BCB, bro. There's just StableCoin SuperCycle. There's just too many things that are saying the institutions coming in now, they're not the suckers, but they're getting in so much that they're basically gonna make the other suckers FOMO in. I don't think these guys are suckers yet. You know, this is what he expects. This is the thrust up part, right? So we're gonna thrust up, flag. Everyone thinks, oh my gosh, it's just getting started, and then bear market. Okay, and then bear market. So, I don't know, man. And by the way, friends, just to let you know, he's not a doomer. BCB's a very, very lovely man. It just, we understand the esoteric nature of markets. This could be like a World War event, bro. You know, friends, it could literally be like, what if there actually is an alien invasion and they just throw it out on the news? Aliens have started like bombing up random stuff. We're like, oh, crap. Do you know what I mean? And everyone's like, oh, shit, I can't be euphoric, bro. Aliens, dude. You know what I mean? Like, just something comes and throws itself out. There's always that possibility in our mind. But before we even get to that, you know, we got to get the up-only part first. This is XRP's chart. It's a fractal of what it did in 2017. So this is XRP's God run, and it's actually started to rise up about now. So we are at the exact fractal point for many altcoins where they have to start moving up. But the thing is, you know they move up directionally. You just don't know how much. You know, XRP in 2017, it did 650x the whole way it went up. You know, that's why with this one, it might do like, you know, 10, right? It might go from that 80 cents to the to $8 mark. You see a total difference, right? But that's because XRP was a unicorn back then. Here's the NASDAQ chart, and this is Bitcoin lagging behind. This is the orange line. So we're ready to go. NASDAQ is way through the all-time highs. NASDAQ, friends, is hyper-stimulatory, responding to the global M2 money supply. It's got an enormous correlation, 95% correlation, because it just makes sense, right? They print money, it goes into tech and network effects and everything out here, and yes, that's what we're looking for. So here's a big arrow expecting the big smack up, what we're expecting now. You see that? So we're expecting some sort of, but what was expecting me? But could it go down? Of course it can, dude. I don't know. It's every single step of the way, bro. Every time you get expectations, something comes and poops in you. So we just got to take a moment and play some angel music just to smooth it over, you know, because every step of the way, you know, you want it to get better, You really, really want to. Like, I want to believe it gets better and then doesn't get better. And you're like, okay. But you have to stay in the game. Because like, I'm going to go through a lot of these news feeds. A lot of juicy news here. This doesn't feel like anywhere near Euphoria. I don't think anything's silly. I do not see anything silly right now. And I'm just going to give you a quick flash. I've made videos on this, and I will continue to make videos of my exotic top signal list. Look at the stuff that hasn't happened, okay? US Congress banning stocks, Tai Lopez, MicroStrategy's NAV turning negative, NASDAQ launching a crypto index, public ICO raised 1 billion, a meme coin hitting 100 billion, Coinbase App Store ranking. They haven't happened yet, friends. Look how cute this is, by the way. It's so cute. Put this in AI. Wow. So, there's no silliness, right? And you know what silliness is, friends. You know what silliness is. Remember bangers? You're too poor to stay to Soylana girl's house. Right? Bangers. Warning. That's uh-oh. Do you see what I mean? That's totally... Are you seeing that? No, you're not. Not yet, but we will. All right, cracking on, friends. The US stock market closed at a new record high. So that is our barometer. Because stock market, it's pricing in the future. Yes, it's pricing in the future. All these hundreds of thousands of variables, you know, like demand going up and down, supply issues, currencies, the S&P 500 is pricing all of it in and does a very good job of it, okay? So if it's going up now, that means the economic data between now and the end of the year is going to be good, okay? But that's why you can't wait for the data to get bad because the S&P 500 has already shut the bed. It's already pooped all over the bed and the floor and the bathroom and it's vomiting, okay? And then you're like, oh no, everything's getting bad. But then the stocks front run that, right? That's why there's no free lunch in markets. That's why the only way to safely handle it is you protect yourself when there's euphoria. Where you go, okay, look, man, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 12 months. Could be a 30% chance of we're in a bear market. 30%, right? That's how you can at least get your portfolio of your stable coins off zero up to 30% or whatever. Saylor's MicroStrategy has bought 4,980 BTC. So Michael Chad Saylor, once again, he now owns 597,000 BTC. You know he's definitely going for that 1 million. He's trying to claw it up to 600,000. So friends, he's breaking news, right? His average price is now 71,000. Wow. So as the price goes up, he's going to find more money to put it in, and then people are going to be able to get basically pretty much help him get his average price up. You got to remember what he's done, friends. Michael Saylor is grabbing bond money. Okay? So bond money, look, there's a loophole. I believe in the next bear market, when we see a collapse, they're going to close this loophole. They're going to say, look, man, if you're in America, we're going to change the rules. If you're a company and you have to own bonds, you're not allowed to, they'll add like a clause. Like, the bonds you buy of the capital requirement, they're not allowed to go to buying digital assets or something. You know what I mean? So that'll be pretty much, that's what's going to happen. That's probably going to make a lot of people sell the bottom after Bitcoin. Hopefully Bitcoin hits 250, comes back down to 80. Everyone will be selling. They're like, oh, the government made it illegal for these people who bought Bitcoin up in the first place to get in. And they'll be like, you know what? You're a cuck. Chod. Bear market. We're going to buy the low and we're going to start it all over again. Okay. So we're already preempting all of this stuff out here. But it is a loophole. Okay. And we haven't. See, the loophole, what they only get closed because someone abuses them and things go bad. So we got to let Michael Saylor abuse it first. Okay, got to get all that bond money. Because friends, bond money, they're like, oh, give me a coupon. Well, he's giving you 10% bond, 10% yield forever. Forever. So it's just, bro, you are making a bet that this thing will keep growing literally forever. Like, we know at one point, bro. We know. And these friends, all these guys are older than me. You know, they've been around. Where were you in the 90s? And I don't know. I just, you know, that's what happens. Financial outcome here when you're smart, friends. Sometimes people are just too smart for your own good. You really get this confidence like you can do no wrong. Treasury Secretary Bessent says they'll begin working on the Fed chair, Major Loser Powell's successor in the next coming weeks and months. So that is another potential thing that could happen where we run up to the end of the year and then we have a final blow-off alt season, maybe next year, January, February, March, and people are pricing in the next Fed. Yeah, and then when the next Fed comes in, he cuts rates and there's a tiny bit of a sugar rush, but it can't do much. It's like a failed rally. And then we actually begin the bear market. And then everyone remembers, oh crap, when they cut rates, it's because the economy's weak, right? So, and then friends, I could just see it all over again. I could see us saying firing Powell was a mistake, right? This is exactly, didn't we all joke about, remember Clown Gensler was saying, getting rid of Gensler was a mistake. I mean, because friends, altcoins we've gone so bad. Now people have said, we should have left Gensler in because being bad against digital assets and stuff was the best marketing because we like survived without them. Now they're trying to help us and we're still going down, right? But that's just Fugazi narrative talk. Treasury Secretary Bessent says stablecoin legislation could be finalized by mid-July and expects it to boost demand for the US Treasuries. Stablecoin SuperCycle, it confirms every day. And speaking of our favorite unstable SuperCycle, unstable coin, pDAI has hit 0.41 cents. It is now 100%, friends. We have defeated Richard Hart as a boss. He's a prelude boss. He might be the very, very end boss of the game at the end. Again, you might fight him again later where he's powered up. But he dropped his top hat. His top hat gave you plus 10 luck, plus 15% evasion, right? Kind of funny. The whole point of Pulse Chain was to avoid the bear market, to evade it. There's a lot of things about evading and dodging stuff because he's such a logical guy. Evading Interpol, evading SEC. So I think it's very, very fitting with it. We've already got Caddy's, remember Caddy's sorcery ring. We've got that here, right here, friends. So Caddy's sorcery ring lets you attach one of your, it lets you attach one of those skill level scripts that you get. You probably find like a scroll out there in the world. It's how the game developers balance it out. Now, these are the Pulse Chain prices for the past 7 days. If you notice, friends, man, look, we're not going to shut up, bro. Okay? We're not going to shut up when my stablecoin SuperCycle thesis every 15 seconds of the day is confirming. And pDAI's up 113% in the past 7 days. And also, PWBTC is up 91%. Also, dick with butt. Go the dick butt. Get into it. So these things, man, it's attracting so many new people. It really is. And if you're curious, why doesn't Richard go launch just another coin and release because the thing doesn't pump and he needs something to pump so we can get new people in. For example, because you only came in because Hex pumped. Do you get it? Are you getting it now? The guy with the top hat who used to live on top of a sandwich shop, who quacks like a duck, has done this before and it worked. There are 200,000 people in the community, maybe 100,000, whatever it is. Anyway, there's thousands and thousands of people in the community who are still here, down 99%, not leaving. You get it? Friends, it's just like, I've got to use this example. I made one of those religious episodes for you, my YouTube videos. You read the Bible, friends? Okay. There's many times God strikes people, like Abraham, just strikes people. He's thunder, and they just play around with him, and then they never lose faith. They stay there. Sometimes they lose faith, they come back. So you got to read. Once I started learning about Richard, I did not know there's a whole new way just to look at life, because you and I we're in slave mentality when you're born. Richard's in CEO, entrepreneur, leader mentality, right? So it struck me when I'm reading this stuff. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute. He's probably looking at, say, the Bible. He's like, God can strike these people and they don't lose faith, right? They stay around. I never thought about that part of, say, the Bible, all these texts out here. I never, ever, ever, never crossed my mind. I just thought of it, there's a story. What's the lesson, right? Because you and I were always from the perspective of the slave or the person getting hit, So it's just interesting. And why is this relevant? Memes, cults, religions. Duh. Right? If you're building a community that's a digital nation and everybody in the world can bridge in and out at hyper fast speed, well, you better understand what makes a community strong, because you're a digital country. You're not a geographical country. You can't build these big forts and towers and make it illegal for people to leave, right? And take their passport away. You can't do that on the internet. So you have to infuse it with some more magical spirit stuff. Okay, so it does. I know, friends. On the surface, it just looks like a dude in a sandwich shop in a top hat, and now he's missing. That's what it looks like, but no, it's not. It is not. It's not that. You have to look around, see what's still here. Robinhood has launched tokenized US stock trading in the EU, unveils a layer 2 blockchain, adds crypto staking in the US, and rolls out perpetual futures in Europe. Friends, on the topic of that, ChainLink, talk about stocks are coming to crypto. You can now trade stocks on Solana blockchain. So you can actually swap into X NVIDIA, X MicroStrategy, and the oracle is ChainLink. Look at this. The company doing the xStocks. We're excited to announce ChainLink has joined the alliance as the official oracle infrastructure powering and pricing all of the tokenized equities and ETFs. So this will make tokenized stocks globally accessible through DeFi. So they're talking about ChainLink will be xStocks' official infrastructure. They are adopting data streams, proof of reserves, and all of these out here. So that's big news, big news. Let me guess, ChainLink's not reacting. And, oh, what do you know? It's got a red daily candle. Well done, you piece of shit. So this is just, friends, it's all DeFi, altcoins, anything linked to Ethereum, business cycle stuff. Doesn't matter what the news is. That's why if you're in Hex, you probably think you got the worst news in the world, which we have. Bro, look at friends. Literally, ChainLink just got announced. ChainLink gets announced for all these amazing things. Dude, no one cares. It doesn't move. You know, still long. I still think, though, the whole ChainLink target, I still have it. I think it can get to $160, which is... it is a 100 billion market cap. Okay, so $160 will be the highest fib here. There you go. This is 100 billion market cap here. So maybe it hopefully hits around here, around 180 to 200. That'd be great. 100 billion. That's about 12 to 14x from here, which is juicy, but it ain't no. Let's just look at pDAI. What would pDAI, friends? pDAI 10x just puts it to 4 cents. You know what I mean? 10x puts it to 4 cents. 100x puts it to 40 cents. Man, the gap's closing. Man, it's closing, man. Friends, once pDAI gets to 3 cents, now it's like it's only 33x away to $1. Once it gets to like 5 cents, it's 20x away to $1. Once it gets to 10 cents, it's 10x away. And it hits 11x, it's less than 11 cents, it's less than 10x. Like, what happens to numbers? It used to be 1,000. Yeah, but these things don't last forever, right? Trump says major loser Fed Powell and the board should be ashamed. And they claim the US should be paying 1% interest or less. So remember, it's all about the US debt rollover. They still haven't rolled over the debt, okay? So I think what they have to do is roll it over short term, let him cut the rates, then roll it over big term, okay? We could get an economic surprise somewhere. We don't know, right? But in terms of like, if they do short-term debt, we have a mini bear market, and then Trump like rolls over the debt when the new Fed chairman's in at the end of next year. And then it like maybe gets an alt season earlier next cycle. That's another possibility. But we don't have to worry about that. It's just, that's a good test of just to see like, are we on track with how we expect these things to play out. But yeah, most importantly, you don't need to like know all these like 50,000 moving pieces puzzles. We're aware of them, but you don't need to know about them because it's literally just buy low, sell high, right? It's just do we see Euphoria yet? No, that's as simple as it gets. Some lovely news here, just to remind you. CZ, friends, in 2014 swapped his apartment in China for 1,500 BTC at $600 each. Today, that apartment is worth 1.5 million, but the Bitcoin is worth 160 million. Huge. By the way, friends, 2014 was the bear market of Mt. Gox collapse. Okay, so that was, it's not like, oh, so easy. You know what I mean? There's no one there. That's why they got the big returns. Maybe we're making these new future stories right now, though. Like if pDAI goes to $1, we're gonna be those stories. Yeah, we're gonna be on Wanker Guru, on those stories. Pulse Chain, Hex, they're gonna be those stories. Like, hey, this dude swapped, $50 of this, and then this thing went up. We're gonna be those stories, and they won't be the biggest stories or anything out here, but we'll be yelling about them the loudest, so they're gonna appear the biggest. That's what's most important. We got a loud megaphone. Circle, friends, the company has minted 250 million USDC on Solana. I don't know what anyone does on that on there, but yeah. So more StableCoin SuperCycle. They're gonna keep minting stablecoins, bringing stablecoins over. connecting everyone's. Basically, it's a new bank account. You can earn yield and do stuff on it. And then, yes, it's going to get really, really close to everybody being a DGen. Most major banks now expect the US Fed to cut by 25 to 100 basis points starting as early as July, while a few see no cuts in 2025. So they're starting to do that, but they get the nudge when Major Loser comes out, and he might talk more about what their expectations are. They've already hinted, oh yeah, we could cut. Yeah, they've already hinted that. Bloomberg has raised their approval odds for the spot ETF of XRP, Soy, and Litecoin, which I'll show you the page right here. Here we go. This is the page front right here. The odds of approval. Look at this. All these baskets of Gayscale and Shitwise and all of these. So 95%, Litecoin 95, Solana 95, XRP 95, Dogecoin 90, Cardano 90%, Polkadot 90%. Bro, why are the odds for Polkadot going up, bro? Right? Oh, man. I've only got one explanation, okay? They're part of the pedophile ring in Hollywood or something. How is Pedodot's odds going up, bro? Have you used the chain? Oh, shout out to everybody at Pedodot, you know what I mean? I'm still waiting one day. I'm waiting for a call. Not that I answer my phone at all, but I'm waiting for one of you guys to let me, Sommi, message this guy, message that guy, and then speak to, say, a Polkadot dude. They need your help to stop helping this chain get cucked. Here we have HFART. HBAR, this is wonderful. 90%. You guys, HBAR are getting an ETF. I mean, congratulations. A lot of you guys, some of you guys do have, you do message me and stuff about having HBAR. Avalanche as well. PUI 60%. Bro, why is even PUI on the list? Do you know what I mean? Tron, I feel like Tron should be higher. I think Justin's bribed the government enough. He should be getting an ETF. So hopefully all the ETFs come and then they announce the index, that crypto index. I really hope that happens, man. I hope it's this cycle. But we don't have to be, too committed to it. It's a possibility, that's all. Where they give you the full index, maybe like top 20 crypto coins or something, and it will be like very volatile and stuff at the end. It might be like that final signal that it's all over within the next month or two. Microsoft has unveiled its AI medical tool, claiming it performs 4 times better than human doctors. Wow. So all these tech companies, they're doing AI medicine, AI everything, man. So that's what, friends, all my life, past 10 years, man, I've been always wondering, why are these tech companies worth so much? Why is Google and Microsoft, how is the market doing that? And I always knew deep down, I go, man, I learned this from when I was a kid, when I saw Amazon in 2012, not understanding what was happening. The stock was going up and everybody on news was saying that it's overpriced, right? So I just knew that the market's right. I knew you don't accidentally do this chart. And this is the monthly of Microsoft. You don't accidentally do this chart for this long, okay? And it's not just Microsoft. There's a lot of companies, Google, McDougal, and everything out here. And then I knew, I'm like, you know what? Because that's when I started to be really open to the idea of Metcalfe's law. And I'm like, oh, they're networks. I'm like, okay, but see, that's why, friends, it's all your friends from me, my videos, everything I've been telling you since the past 3-4 years, man. The people are there. That's the value. It doesn't matter what you sell them, bro. Because if someone else makes a good product out there, you can take that product, tweak it a bit, and they'll sell it to your people. You need the people there. The people are the value. The product's not the value. It's the people. It's a network. It's a country. That's why in crypto, everyone's confused. Oh, why does Cardano have 20 billion market cap? Why does XRP have that one? Because, bro, they have people there. That's why. You think, oh, you've got an amazing, fast JPEG launcher on Solana. No one gives a shit, bro. They're literally just going to copy paste it. They have already. You understand? The people are not leaving. The people are the value. You need the people in. And it's the same thing with, say, Microsoft. The people, they're in the networks of these. Now, Microsoft can just, sell this stuff out to everybody who's got a Windows, okay? And now, obviously, moving into AI. Now, they're all things, they're just gonna take the best AI stuff and just give it to their people, right? That's why, friends, the network is the value, yeah? Because in a world where we're gonna do 3D printing, all this other stuff out here, it's making it harder and harder to differentiate yourself product-wise, right? That's why it's all about the community. It really is all about that. The Bhutan government wallet has sent 137 BTC, 14 million to Binance, but they still hold 1.28 billion. So I've reported to you as well, friends, Bhutan have been selling quite a bit of their Bitcoin to pay government workers' salaries. So everybody's just cashing out, which is sad. The mainstream media news, they're not reporting on that. They're still reporting, oh, don't worry, they still got $1 billion. They still got $1 billion. They keep saying it, stuff like that. But they're in the process of just dumping a crap. I don't know. I hope there's a good ending for it. This happened, friends. Spanish coffee chain Vanadi shareholders have approved its plan to invest up to 1 billion euros into Bitcoin, aiming to become Spain's largest listed Bitcoin company. This is amazing. When I see more of these, I'm like, okay, 250k BTC's coming. I can feel it now. That's all these companies putting on the balance sheet. But also, they're going to be in for a terror when they see altcoins flying. Okay? They're probably going to have to put the Ethereum strategy too. Canada, friends. Shout out to my baby doll out there in maple syrup land. They have rescinded their digital services tax to support trade. So they basically capitulated on Trump over that weekend. And Prime Minister Carney and Trump, they're going to resume talks. So I've just shown you this so you just know, oh, a lot of the news, it really is fugazi, man. A lot of it really is, even though it feels so intense when they appeared for us in the news at the time. Metaplanet have issued more bonds to buy more Bitcoin, and they bought another 1,005 BTC. So they're adding everyone's adding it to the Bitcoin Treasury, which is wonderful. That's how we unlock the higher market caps. Also, $380 million of tokens will be unlocked this week. The largest is going to be 159 million unlocked by PUI. Now, I know don't get fudded or anything out here, because in a bull market, that's what happens. Like, demand does come in. And look, I don't know how it's going to resolve itself, because we got a lot of tokens, bro. We got too many tokens. We know we got too many tokens. We just don't know, man. We got too many tokens, and we don't have enough community builders. So we'll see how it resolves itself. Robert Kiyosaki reflects on first buying his Bitcoin at $6,000. He goes, it was expensive at the time. He was buying it, and then Peter Schiff was fighting it at $4,000. Right? So imagine you buy it 60,000, 6,000, drops 50%. And that's when I was buying it, by the way, around there. And yeah, Peter Schiff comes out saying it's going to go down to $1. You see? Think about all the coins you own now where people are fighting it. People are fighting it, and it was higher before. It's going to have the same fate for them. Bank of Korea has temporarily suspended its CBDC project ahead of the second test due to complaints from banks and rising discussion about won-based stablecoins. I haven't watched the latest Squid Games. Looking forward to it. I saw a meme. It was the Victoria Beckham and David Beckham meme about it. And they basically joked. They said, just admit it's just an extension of season 2. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna read anything else. I want to go watch it. Okay. It's also funny. I think of Korea, all I think about Squid Games. You know what I mean? But at least one-based stable coins. Interesting. More stable coins SuperCycle. Squid Game SuperCycle. Crypto payments gain traction in Bhutan as 1,000 merchants adopt digital assets via Binance Pay. So we're going to see more of these countries, smaller countries, because they're faster to move on their feet, do the crypto merchant stuff. The blockchain group buys 60 more BTC, boosting its holdings. So remember, friends, all these themes. You're seeing Bitcoin Treasury bubble, crypto IPO bubble, meme coin SuperCycle, stablecoin SuperCycle. These 4 narratives that I have identified that are all happening. And I really, like, if it's a bull market, bro, they all got to hit. You know, all of them have to hit. Crypto IPO, throw it out, no one cares. Bitcoin Treasury bubble, throw it out, no one cares, because you can't invest in those companies. So we're left with stablecoin SuperCycle. Obviously, I love pDAI. You can buy the others. You can buy Chainlink and Ethereum and all the other stuff. They all participate in it. And then you have meme coin SuperCycle as well. So basically, this is a bull market for everyone. Because, if you're in an esoteric chain that no one knows about, okay, well, deploy your own meme coins there. You know what I mean? So there's an opportunity, I think, for all of these. $300 billion investment advisor Rick Edelman recommends 40% crypto allocation for aggressive investors. Says not owning crypto is the real speculation. Yeah, it's true. If you're under the age of 30 and, you can't save up for a house or cost of living and stuff out here, it's precisely because everything is actually going up in price by 8% per year. you're only getting paid 3% per year more. So every year you're sliding back. The government is using your loss to pay off the debt, which we all started in GFC 2008. So for you to win, you have to take your cash, and instead of holding it for 5 years, which everyone does, you've got to put it in an asset growing at more than 8% per year. That's what you have to do. The NASDAQ grows at 16% per year. Rubbish. Crypto grows at 60% per year. Just thrashes it. That's why crypto is amazing. It used to grow at freaking 100% per year, right? So it's going down, but it's still amazing. That's what you have to do. JP Mosquito initiates coverage on Circle with an underrate rating of $80. So they're basically bullish on Circle because of StableCoin SuperCycle and everything out here. So this is Michael Chad Saylor, deep in thought. Bang, there he is. I should buy more Bitcoin. Yes, sir. Buy more. Buy more. Man, it's going to be great. Friends, I don't think, people still don't believe it, but all these Bitcoin treasury buying is going to give us a bigger roll season. Yeah. And it's because of the rotation, and no one believes in the rotation, which is exactly what you and I want. So we are going to make it. Like, subscribe, press bell button, press all. Catch you soon.